The story begins in an alley. 2 days ago, this young girl fell into this strange world. Unfortunately, she doesn't know what triggered this spatial magic, and she has no way to go home. To make it worse, she is incredibly hungry. Her stomach won't stop growling. It seems she will be in this world for a while, but since she can't find a way back, she will figure out how to survive. She attempts to remove the dust from her clothing and walks along the street until she spots a restaurant. Her stomach growls, prompting her to go inside. Upon opening the door, she sees a teenage girl cleaning. She approaches the lady and grabs her clothing, inquiring if she is still hiring an assistant. The woman looks at her, a bit confused, but our protagonist explains that she needs a place to live temporarily. She wants to know if the store can provide a place to stay, mentioning that she has a lot of experience and can also help clean and serve dishes. The young lady looks at her nervously, kneels down, and asks where her parents are. She wonders if this is some kind of game with the other kids, but the girl tells her no, she doesn't have any parents and this isn't a game. She's serious and wants to know if she's still hiring, as she really needs a place to live. The woman pats the girl on her head and tells her to wait for a minute. The girl waits patiently but has a look of defeat on her face. However, she glances at the woman and overhears her talking about calling the police, suggesting that she could be from an orphanage, and they should send her back. This terrifies the girl. The mere thought of an orphanage is frightening. She quickly turns around, exits, and slams the door behind her. The young woman is surprised, thinking it's strange and wondering where the girl could have gone. Meanwhile, our little protagonist is running as fast as she can. To her, this world is so strange. They find ways to kick you out if they're not hiring. Why would anyone send people to an orphanage? To make it even more distressing, what was that strange device she was using? Perhaps it was a magical item of this world. Suddenly, she hears a sound. It's a kitten meowing as two people pass it by. They stop, thinking it's a cute kitten and consider adopting it. However, the husband tells his wife that she can't even take care of herself. She questions if he isn't the same, expressing her desire to bring it home as it's so pitiful. Hearing this, the man reluctantly accepts. The girl has an idea. After the two take the kitten and leave, she will run towards the box and take it away. Later that night, she sleeps in the box with the initial message, "Bring me home." She looks really adorable and is sleeping peacefully. Suddenly, she opens her eyes, which are as beautiful as the solar system. Upon hearing footsteps, she quickly realizes that someone is coming. She asks if the person can bring her home. The person is a young man who looks like a K-pop star, with a lollipop in his mouth. He smiles as he looks down at her, and she looks up at him with determination in her eyes. However, he thinks for a moment and is very surprised. This young man is a handsome human with blue eyes. It has always been his dream to have a small yet happy family, but he found it hard to do so because of his face. He was born with good skin, cherry blossom eyes, and fierce thin lips, but his road to finding a partner always ended in a dead end. Many girls he approached never believed he was a good fit for them. It's their loss though, because the guy is very handsome and seems like a great person. One day, as he was going back home from work, he met Deli, a weird girl he ran into on his way home. She declared that she had been waiting for him and questioned if he could take her home. She claims to be from another world, but at his house, she only knows how to eat, drink, and create a mess everywhere. To make it worse, she also made his dating journey even harder than it already was. The girls he goes on dates with often declare that they're too young and not looking for a partner who already has a kid, so they always leave blushing. If this continues, his promise to his mother that he will find a place where he belongs one day won't come true. He has to figure out how to throw out this little witch, but strangely, he feels like the life he has always wanted seems to have already been achieved. For now, what should he do with this situation? In a cafe, a pink-haired girl apologizes to Mr. Aze, saying she doesn't believe they are a good match for each other. He inquires why, thinking she must think he's a total scumbag, and that's probably why every blind date he goes on ends in total failure. His good side tries to reassure him that it's not like that. Not everyone thinks that way. At that moment, she glances at Deli's, who is holding two white flags in her hand behind them. The pink-haired girl declares that she can't date a man who has a kid. He wonders what's happening now. What kid? When did he have a kid? Suddenly, he turns around and sees Deli's. He gets angry and asks why she followed him. This is his 8th blind date. He thought this time he would shake off his single status, but it got derailed by this little kid. He had told her to stay at home as he would be home soon. However, she declares that she was afraid he was going to fail. She saw that he was very nervous before going out. Also, she learned this from a cartoon. He's angry, but he gently pats her on the head and asks if she knows what a blind date is. She even courageously ran all the way here to cheer for him. Suddenly, he bops her head a bit harder, commenting that she learns quite fast. It hasn't even been that long, and she already knows how to write. She thinks she's being praised, but that's not the case. She uses her magic to make the flags in her hand disappear in an instant. She then proudly declares that there's no need to thank her. She asks when they are going home, as she wants to eat one of those takeout meals. However, because of her earlier magic trick, everyone is staring at them in awe. That's the power of a witch. He had told her many times not to use magic when they're outside, but he decides to take her home. Why did he adopt a little witch? To understand that, we have to go back a few days. 5 days ago, at his workplace, it was nearing the end of the day. He felt really tired and was happy that he could go home after a hard day's work. A young lady comments that he's leaving work now. He turns around and states that it's rare that he doesn't have to work any overtime. He walks away, declaring that he'll leave first and see her next week. The girls gush over him, declaring that he is really the most handsome man in their company and seems so reliable and hardworking. However, another lady comments that she shouldn't be so enchanted by him, as that charming face of his can't be controlled. On his way home, he wonders where he is in the game he was playing, but suddenly his phone begins to ring. He answers the phone and asks what's up. At a party, 2 boys and 2 girls are having drinks and having fun. Lou tells him that it's good news. He arranged another blind date for him. This is already the 8th one. If it doesn't work out again, he probably needs to go to a temple to worship. But Aze declares that he doesn't believe in such things, though he thanks his friend anyway. His friend questions why he's being so polite to him, as he's working so hard in the city all by himself. His friend Lou has to look after him, but he needs to go out more. How will he find a partner if he's always staying at home? This makes Aze a bit angry, and he begins to walk past the girls at quite a speed. He tells his friend that he's not talking with him anymore. However, he quickly realizes that he just passed a little girl in a box. He's surprised and wonders why there's a little girl here. That's when she opens her eyes and realizes that there is a guy with a magical aura in front of her. That's when she asks if he could take her home. That was the first time he met Deli's. He didn't know at the time just how much his life was about to change. He wondered what she was saying, and she wondered why he wasn't saying anything. He pondered why she was so dirty. She could be an orphan, or maybe she lives on the streets, or did she run away from home? All these thoughts rush through his mind. However, he questions what kind of game she's playing. It's too late. If she doesn't go home soon, her mom and dad would be worried. But she tells him that she doesn't have a mom or dad. She wonders why he isn't taking her home. Yesterday, she clearly saw a couple taking a cat home, so she thought she could be taken home by someone this way. Maybe she made a mistake. Suddenly, she realizes she's so tired and hungry but has nowhere to go. She inquires if he can take her in. She begins to meow, with slight tears coming from her eyes. This surprises him, and he believed that it must be a scam. There must be a professional beggar with her to go as far as to use kid. But he declares that he won't be fooled and that whoever she is, she should find a different target. As he walks away, she screams, "Don't go!" She attempts to run after him, but her leg gets caught in the box, causing her to fall to the ground. She raises her head and declares that she's been waiting for him all day. It's so unfortunate that she's in this predicament because she accidentally touched a magic array and fell into this world. Now she can't go back. She had no choice but to sleep in a small alley, praying that she would find a place to stay soon. Then he showed up, the only other human she has come across in the past few days who has a sense of magic. However, she doesn't understand how that's possible. That scent was so nice and comforting, but there were too many people. All of a sudden, he disappeared, so she decided to wait for him to come back, which she did until now. That's the situation. Upon explaining this to him, she questions if he is willing to take her in now. However, he refuses, telling her that the scent of magic she's talking about is nonsense. He thinks to himself that since she is living on the street, it's better to let the police deal with this. Because he rejected her and told her that what she said was nonsense. Her heart was broken. She fell to her knees, injuring them and causing them to bruise. Upon seeing this, he was surprised, commenting that she was bleeding. Her stomach was also growling, and she told him that she was really hungry, so hungry that she was crying. This made him feel incredibly guilty for leaving a poor child on the street. What a monster he felt like. However, because of his uneasy conscience, he decided to take her home, give her something to eat and treat her wounds, but only for the night. He would send her away tomorrow morning. This was what she had been waiting for, the chance to be taken home. She agrees, commenting that she will be super well behaved. On their way to his house, she tells him that she is super helpful. Not only can she perform witchcraft, but she can also sweep the floor, fold blankets, carry plates, perfectly organize magic potion bottles, and she's also very good at catching lizards. Unfortunately, he's not very good with children at all. When he was younger, he used to love wizards. He even used to watch shows about them with his mother. When he was at school, he told the other children that he wanted to become a magician, but they all laughed at him. But having magical powers was really cool. He wanted to be one so he could protect his mother. His mom believed in him. She was always so kind and caring. However, in the end, he could not protect her. In the hospital, she was on her last leg, and he was crying by her bedside. She told him not to cry, as she was only a little bit sleepy. She only wanted to sleep, that was all. But he knew she was lying to him. She was going to close her eyes and never open them again. But she told him that she could never lie to him, and that when she is asleep, he must live well. In the future, he'll have a new family. She told him not to end up alone, or else he would make her worry. Those were her last words, and then she died. He held her hand and screamed, "Mom!" while crying profusely. Suddenly, he woke up with cold sweat running down his face, breathing heavily. He wondered why he dreamed of that again. Magical powers protecting his family. He couldn't do any of that. It's been a long time since he dreamt about that. Maybe it's because that kid from yesterday mentioned magic. He believed that every child fantasizes about magic. But it's too bad that magic simply doesn't exist. But that thought is quickly destroyed as he sees her using magic to clean up his apartment. She smiles and tells him that she's helping him tidy up his room. However, he comes to the brilliant conclusion that this is all a dream. Suddenly, he hears a loud crashing noise and questions what's happening now. She makes an adorable face and tells him that she made a mistake. He is mortified as he runs to the item that is broken. He screams that his switch has been broken and is now lost to the underworld. He inquires if she is really a witch. She tells him yes and asks him to watch as she conjures something out of thin air. This shatters his whole worldview. He wonders what he should do about this kid. First, he wanted to take her down to the police station. But how would he explain where she came from? Also, she has done a great job cleaning his room, which is now spotless. Currently, she is waiting for him to praise her, and he can't just send her away. That's too cruel, and his heart can't handle it. As a result, he decides to let her stay until she finds a way to return home, but she cannot disrupt his life. She nods her head and tells him that it's good enough that he is willing to take her in. When it was late at night, he was in the living room enjoying a game until she stood in front of him, blocking his view. She questioned if this is what he called a TV, exclaiming that it was awesome because it can store moving people inside. She exclaimed, "Go, go, go!" to the screen. He told her that it was just some pixels, but her magic is more awesome. For example, she can have a magnificent transformation sequence, have a fairy companion, and save the world. These are the hallmarks of a witch, but she seems to be really ordinary, nothing impressive at all. This makes her angry, and she tells him not to look down on her. She had told him that what happened just now was a mistake. She is quite upset and conjures her magic wand. Using her magic, she begins levitating him and the pillows around him. She comments that now that he knows how awesome she is, she declares that she can do even more. But he tells her to let him down quickly as he might throw up. She then drops him on the couch, albeit not in a gentle way. She apologizes to him and states that even at home, they said her magic was not good. He slowly approaches her and comments that it's getting late and that little kids like her should be asleep now, as she won't grow tall if she doesn't go to sleep. He really wants her to go to bed quickly so he can have some peace and quiet. Because of his words, she tells him that she will go to sleep right away. She thinks he's so nice and that he really cares about her. He tells her to go and sleep in the living room. Suddenly, he looks at her dirty clothes and realizes that he never gave the child a bath. He tells her to wait and that she should take a bath first. He doesn't have any children's clothes, so he questions if she can use magic to make some for herself. Unfortunately, she can't do it. He sarcastically thinks that she's an amazing witch, but he knows if he says it out loud, he would suffer again. He said he would take care of her temporarily, but it seems like it will be more trouble than he was thinking. He tells her that tomorrow they will go out to buy her some new clothes. The next day, at the clothing store, she tries on new dresses, and each one is more adorable than the last. Some are even classy, which makes her look like a rich girl. But beauty comes at a price, $4,850. He wonders why it was so expensive. It's even more expensive than games. Turns out that children devour a lot of money. Meanwhile, Deli's thought that since he gave her a place to stay and even new clothes, he was her benefactor. The payment was successful, and the clerk told him to come back soon. We then see him wearing a very good-looking suit, which makes one wonder how this man is still single. He tells her that they're going home and inquires if she isn't tired. She holds on to his finger, and it's clear that she is not tired. He wonders why she is so happy and needs to adjust a couple of pieces of clothing. Suddenly, a young lady screams, "My bag!" Someone just stole her bag, threw her to the ground, and is now escaping on a bike. He helps her up, and Deli's declares that she will help get her bag back. She conjures her magic wand, and she is very angry. This makes him very uneasy, as he knows she cannot control her magic. Seeing that she was serious and wasn't playing, he quickly grabs her. He nervously laughs and tells the girl that she's just playing with magic tricks. He whispers to Deli's that she can't use her magic outside as she cannot let people see her. She is very furious, but he calls the police and tells them that at the intersection, a young woman's bag was robbed. But Deli's was determined. She was angry and told him that she would snatch back the lady's bag. But he grabbed her and questioned how her two legs could be comparable to the other person's two wheels. She comments that the bad guy will get away. He looks left, where the girl is nervously looking at him, and then looks right, where Deli's is trying to escape his grip. He gets a bicycle, puts her on the back seat. He tells her to hold on, and when they start riding, she is impressed and exclaims, "That's cool." However, the thief is getting further and further away. He wonders if he's gone insane. Why is he using a bicycle to chase a motorbike? Deli's comments that he looks very tired and wants to help, but she cannot use magic outside, as he had told her. Then she remembers there is a loophole. All she has to do is not let people see her. She conjures her magic wand and uses her magic to make the bicycle go faster, so they can catch up to him. To his shock, they zoom right into him. In the end, the person who comes out on top is Deli's, and the thief is taken away by the police officers. Meanwhile, Zay rubs the back of his neck, commenting that it hurts. He inquires if when she uses magic, she could be more gentle, as she is hurting her allies too. She tells him that it was just a little messed up and it seems like the speed was too much. He notices that because of the accident, she has dirted her new clothes. Meanwhile, the girl bows to him and declares that she can't thank him enough. He replies that it's no problem, even though the magic was uncontrollable. He pats her on the head. Suddenly, he gets a message on his phone. His friend has introduced a new lady to him, Miss Chun. She suggests they visit a new tea place that's opened on Donghua Street, where the food and atmosphere are good. Miss Chun is interested in trying it, so they could meet up there. Luckily, he's free tomorrow after work. He tells Delis that tomorrow he has to go to work and then on a blind date, so he'll be home late. In a serious tone, he tells her that she can watch cartoons at home, but she's not allowed to use magic to make a mess. She wonders what a blind date is, but is happy that the chance to repay her benefactor has arrived. When Zay comes back, the entire home shall be cleaned, and it will be a big surprise. She uses her magic to sprout a long and thin tree branch that raises his shirt into the air. She uses magical fairies to fold the clothes, but she's not doing a very good job, as the clothes are messily folded and the floor is wet. Surprisingly, she thinks everything looks perfect. She feels exhausted and decides to watch cartoons for a while. She watches cartoons from early in the day until late at night, when the sun begins to set. She lies down and begins to miss him. She wonders when he's getting home, as being alone in the house is so boring. But before she came here, she was always alone too. Girls would make fun of her. She would study alone all by herself in seclusion. She would watch friends show off their magic skills, fire and wind, as she watched from a distance. She was always alone too, but surprisingly, she didn't feel this way before. Suddenly, she sees on TV a group of people cheering for their favorite person, thanking them for their support. She wonders if the people from this world give others this kind of support. She is inspired by what she has seen, and her eyes begin to sparkle. Later, Zay is getting ready, and his eyes are filled with determination. He cannot fail again. Delis wonders if it's an important event and wants to cheer him on. So later she follows his scent to a cafe. She slowly enters the cafe and is happy to realize that she has found him. She sneaks in slowly, conjuring some rabbit-like ears and waving a flag behind him to cheer him on. But the girl with him notices this and begins to cough. Zay questions if she is okay and hands her something to drink. Nervously, she assures him that she's fine. She comments that she remembered he said he was single and lived alone. He tells her that yes, he's been single for many years and has always been by himself. She tells him that his qualifications are excellent, but she is wondering to herself if he even had a kid that he didn't tell her about. She concludes that he's really a scumbag, stands up and leaves, saying that she is still young and can't accept a man who has a child, so she will leave first. Delis blinks, questioning if this counts as a success. Suddenly, Zay angrily turns around and sees her. At first, their day went well, but it was unexpectedly disturbed. To make it worse, upon reaching home, he freezes in shock. He grabs his clothes and questions why she took them down. He had left them out to dry before he left, and now they are still wet. He wonders if there is a leak somewhere in the house. He opens the door, and to his shock, he is met by a huge tree inside one of his rooms. He is petrified and questions if this is also her doing. She really is a troublesome little witch. He ponders when she will leave his house, but realizing that he is angry, she tells him not to be, as she will go tidy up the mess. He then notices something and questions what it is. She quickly blocks it and tells him that she'll clean it up right away. She wanted to make the prettiest banner to cheer on Zay, but making it took so long for her. Hearing this, his anger dissolves. He tells her to be careful and not cut herself with the scissors. He thinks to himself that she may have ruined things, but her intentions were good. Suddenly, he hears a knock on his door. When he opens the door, his friend Luo stands there and questions when he gave birth to a child and why he didn't know about it. Delis grabs Zay's leg and questions who Luo is. Later, Luo, his childhood friend, watches him intently. Delis is struggling to eat a shrimp and accidentally causes some of its juice to spray on her face. Seeing this, Zay tells her to be careful and wipes her cheeks. She explains that this is her first time eating this and inquires how she should eat it. Zay sighs and peels off the shrimp for her. While he's doing this, his friend stares more intently at them, contemplating something. In the kitchen, Zay guides her, telling her that she forgot to roll up her sleeves and that she should do so, or he will have to take care of her again. Luo becomes more and more suspicious. He stares nervously as he watches them. Later, Deli sits on the couch watching television, while Lu confronts Zay. Making a cool pose, Luo tells Zay to explain clearly where she came from. If he doesn't tell him, he won't be his friend anymore. Zay sighs and tells his friend that she's just a homeless child who's staying there temporarily. Luo laughs, commenting that she isn't a mistake from when he was younger and ruined the poor girl's life. This makes Zay nervous, and he tells his friend not to spread rumors about him. Luo smirks and apologizes for doubting his friend's pure heart, but he suggests that Zay adopt her as they seem to get on well. Zay responds that if he does that, he won't be able to get a girlfriend, as women don't want to date a man who has a child. Luo pokes Zay, telling him that he shouldn't look for one, as even without this kid, he hasn't had any success. As a result of this, Zay gives him a death stare. But Luo continues, explaining that Zay is actually not interested in falling in love or getting married. He's just been forcing himself to go on blind dates because of his mother's last wish. Those women must have been able to see that his heart was elsewhere, which is why they rejected him. Otherwise, why would they reject such a handsome man? When it comes to girls, Zay should trust him. After all, the way he peeled the shrimp and the way he remembers to roll up her sleeve are signs that he's a really good father. Meanwhile, Deli wonders why they haven't come out yet as she's getting bored. She gets off the couch and decides to go give them tea and snacks. She holds the tray in her hands and, with trembling hands, slowly walks towards them. She slowly sets it down at the door, then overhears them talking about her. Luo questions Zay if he doesn't enjoy taking care of her. If he does, he should just focus on taking care of her from now on. But Zay declares that she's so bothersome, she causes trouble for him every day, and she's only staying there temporarily. He plans to send her away soon. The next day, Zay arrives home. He calls for Deli to hurry and come out and see what cake she wants to eat. However, the room is oddly silent. He looks around, but there's no one. He searches the room and questions where she could have gone. He calls a few people, but they haven't seen her. She's not at home and she didn't go to his workplace either. Where could she have gone? Maybe she returned to her own world. He sits on his couch playing games and eating snacks, thinking that finally, the house is quiet again. No one's here to cause him any trouble or spend his money. It's so nice. But we all know he's fooling himself. He was meant to be a dad. Time passes, and he becomes agitated. He throws his controller aside and questions what's wrong with him. His heart feels so uneasy. He glances at the takeout he brought for her, remembering her sweet smile as she told him that she wants to eat this. He even gets nostalgic seeing her clothes and her toothbrush. When he tries to sleep, he merely tosses and turns as he cannot fall asleep. He just wants to stop thinking about her since she's already left. But some part of him wonders if she's still so young and if her magic is still unstable. Did she really manage to return to her own world by herself? But that's not important. They always wanted her to leave, so they should just be happy now. Unfortunately, it's raining outside. What if she's out there freezing? He reminds himself that she has magic powers, but these are clearly excuses so that he doesn't have to go look for her. If something happens to her, will he really be able to live with the guilt? Suddenly, he opens his eyes, quickly changes his clothes, and gets ready for action. Meanwhile, Deli's is running in the rain, drenched and soaked, carrying some sticks. She attempts to use her fairies to make a small house, a wood shelter. Once it's finally finished, she tells her little fairies that this is their new home. It's not bad. Much better than the one they made before. The fairies, sensing her uneasiness, snuggle and cuddle her. They are worried for her, but she tells them that now that she has left, Za must be very happy. He's been nice to her, but she doesn't want to stay there and make him hate her more. Suddenly, all the fairies begin to hug her. However, they are blown away when she sneezes. It's so sad that she's even shivering from the cold. Meanwhile, her father is searching for her, wondering where she could have run off to. He moves at full speed, searching vigilantly for her. But the area is so vast, and there are so many trees. Can he really find her? Suddenly, he sees her little fairies. The fairies point somewhere, and he ponders if they are bringing him to her. He runs in the rain with the umbrella over his head and the fairies guiding him. Moments later, he sees her small wooden structure. In a worried tone, he calls her name. She crawls out of her shelter and sees him. He quickly removes his jacket and places it around her. He questions why she came here. She is sorrowful and questions if she did not run far enough, which confuses him. She explains that Za can pretend not to see her, and when the rain stops, she'll go even further away. But he tells her that he never asked her to leave. She smiles, explaining that she accidentally overheard his conversation with Uncle Lou. Deli knows that she's unlikable. We then get a flashback to when he was younger. It was the same for him. His father always criticized why he needed his mother to sleep and thought that he was destroying his and his mother's world. He believed he always created problems and caused his father trouble. Every day he irritated him. He blamed himself for his mother's body becoming weaker and weaker. He thought it was because she gave birth to him and that's why she left this world. Unfortunately, there were no uncles or aunties willing to adopt him. It's tragic. His mom passed away when he was so young, and his dad didn't care for him. To make it worse, none of his other relatives were willing to adopt him. Currently, Deli is hiding her face, declaring that Za is different. He's nice to her, and she doesn't want to make him unhappy, so she will run further away. Damn, this guy is an awful person. I don't care if it was an accident. He's awful in my book. She looks like she wants to cry. Damn. He extends his hand toward her. As he's doing this, he questions what he is doing. He was once abandoned himself and given up on too. Why did he not realize this kid's situation earlier? He almost convinced himself he didn't care about her. What difference is there between him and that scumbag of a father? Suddenly, the thought of his friend Lou telling him to adopt her pops into his mind. He smiles and questions how she would like to go home with him. This surprises her, but he explains that he never hated her. Yesterday, he thought saving his own face was more important, so he said hurtful words about her. He's really sorry. At that moment, he begins blushing. He informs her that if she's not at home, there will be no one to eat the cakes he bought, and the house is a bit too quiet too. She looks up with ultimate puppy dog eyes and inquires if he really doesn't hate her. He tells her that he really doesn't, and that she shouldn't stay here getting soaked from the rain. They should go home together. Her face becomes red, and she seems as if she's ready to cry. However, she smiles and agrees. She extends her arm to him, but suddenly the small hut that she was in crashes down. Luckily, she escapes in time. She holds his hand as they walk away, requesting to have cake tomorrow. He tells her yes, he will make it for her, but she asks for it the day after tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. He tells her that she's too insatiable. When they arrive home, he tells her to go take a hot shower so that she doesn't get a fever. At that moment, a young lady notices them and wonders why that kid has returned. She ponders if she is Xiao Yu's prophesied crisis. 2 weeks later, he is approached by a familiar young lady, who inquires if he is the nice person from the other day. She comments that it's a cool incident and inquires if he also lives there. She smiles at him and he wonders if he really is a nice person. Suddenly, he remembers that she was the young lady who got her bag stolen. She tells him that she recently moved to this community and that she will be teaching at an elementary school nearby. Her name is Tang Yuning. He questions if being a teacher is hard, as he always feels like children are too clingy. For example, after the running away incident, she followed him everywhere he went, which he found irritating. She explains that if a child is clingy, it may be because they lack a sense of security. It would be good to spend more time with them. That night, he ponders what she said. He needs to spend more time with Deli's. But how exactly would he do that? However, thanks to technology that is easily accessible, he decides to look it up on the computer. He writes down all the suggestions to be a good father. The next day, he wakes up early to cook her a meal. When she sees him, she inquires why he woke up so early, but he tells her that he wanted to make breakfast for her, but she will have to wait a bit more. She's a bit sleepy and lowers her head on the table. However, upon seeing the dish that he made, she questions if he is refining medicine. This really hits him hard, as he tried his best. The next step was to read her a story. The prince looked at the princess's beautiful face and couldn't help but kiss her. She was touched by the very romantic story. From the prince's kiss, the princess slowly awakened. He commented that the queen's poisoned apple wasn't poisonous enough. This really frightened her. He then explained that he spoke carelessly. Unfortunately, he failed to read her a good bedtime story to let her get sweet dreams. The third one was making crafts with her and collecting memories that only belonged to the two of them. The fourth one was before going to bed. blow-drying her hair and letting her feel his gentleness. Meanwhile, she's wondering why he's acting so weird. Later, he lies on the couch and ponders why becoming a good father is so difficult. Maybe he should just give up, he's just not suited for this. Deli looks at his defeated expression, reminding her of a dead fish. She rushes toward him and questions what's wrong. He explains that his plan of becoming a good father failed. He's just an incompetent parent. She is confused, but he continues, declaring that he ruined everything. He's just as useless as that scum of a father. She wonders what he is talking about. She shakes him and tells him that they should go to that place. Come on, the little people inside the TV said that it's the happiest place on earth, so they should go there, and he shouldn't be sad anymore. However, he still has a downcast expression. Suddenly, he remembers that the list also said they could go to the amusement park. He's been to one before, so he has experience with it. He smiles and happily states that they will go tomorrow. He won't make any mistakes this time. He's going to make her feel safe. In the next scene, we see them arriving at the amusement park. The park is very lively and almost seems to take your stress away. Upon seeing the amusement park, she is very impressed, and her eyes sparkle like stars. He extends his hand to her as they prepare to enter together. They go on the go-kart ride together, and it's quite fun for both of them. She questions how to play this, and he tells her to wait for a second, and he will show her with a grin on his face. He goes full speed, and they both enjoy themselves. Next, they go on the roller coaster. He is scared, but she is very happy. She points at the toy that she wants, so he gets it for her and puts bunny ears on her head. She is so happy that she begins running in circles. This warms his heart as he looks at her with pure joy and pride. Later, he comes up with a strategy to win a game. He can win several items in one shot. All he has to do is use his Sharingan in order to win a prize for his child and display his strength and intelligence. He aims with skill and precision, but incredibly, he misses everything. Nothing hits. Unfortunately, he is disappointed by his skill, which needs a bit more work. Feeling pity for him, the person running the booth gives him a gift for participating, but he tries to calm himself as he still has other plans. As the internet said, when your child feels scared, protect them immediately and give them a firm shoulder to lean on. So he brings her to a haunted house, assuring her that there's no need to be scared. He will protect her. However, she quickly realizes that his hand is shaking. He tries to assure himself that it's a haunted house for children, so it shouldn't be that scary. However, he is scared by a cheap trick, and the life seems to drain out of him, while the little girl is fine. He falls unconscious as the life seems to drain out of him. The ghost still tries to scare her, but she merely stares at it. She leaves the haunted house with him, wondering how this happened. Everything he planned has failed. Suddenly, he sees that she's staring at something. There's a boy with an ice cream cone. He quickly realizes that they can't be at the amusement park without eating ice cream. He tells her to stay in line, and he will be right back. While she is standing alone, admiring her new toy, an old man with a child approaches her. He spots her alone and happy and cuts the line in front of her. This angers everyone behind them, as it was quite impolite. Suddenly, the boy smacks her in the head with his toy, leaving a small bruise and causing a bit of pain for her. She tells him that he accidentally hit her and that he should apologize. However, he responds that he already said it was an accident and that he didn't do it on purpose. The father then tells her that she is too fussy. Suddenly, our hero arrives, looking like a badass, ready to beat someone up. He inquires what the guy just said, asking if there's a problem with his daughter and telling him to come and talk to him. He hands his daughter the ice cream and kneels down, questioning what happened. She explains that the fat old man suddenly cut in line in front of her, and then his son hit her in the face with his toy and didn't apologize. He pats her on the head, then gets up and orders the man to make his son apologize. This angers the man, who grabs his shirt, exclaiming that she's not hurt and telling him to show where she's injured. However, he slaps the fat man's hand away, claiming that there are surveillance cameras here, so it should be very clear who cut in line and who hurt someone first. After he's finished apologizing, he wants him to line up properly. This angers the old man, and he rolls up his sleeves, ready to box. However, the father makes a bold move, ready to fight right there and then. He questions if the man wants to fight, telling him to fight over there so the kids don't get hurt, but before that, he wants him to make his son apologize. The man senses his intimidating aura and begins to back away. He looks around, realizing that everyone is talking about him. He quickly makes his son apologize and runs off like a coward. The people clap for him and he is very proud, though he is also grateful that they left because he was no match for that person. However, from the moment they left, Deli's hasn't said anything. He wonders if the incident that happened affected her mood. He explains that he messed up and questions why he made her wait there alone. He feels incredibly stupid. However, she tells him that he really believed in her words so much that he protected her. He rubs her head and tells her, "Of course, you're my daughter." This reminds her of when she was back in her world. Teachers would accuse her of stealing things even when it was obvious that she was innocent. Parents would come and complain about her because she was from an orphanage and had no one to protect her. They saw her as a bad kid who would influence others. However, when she tried to defend herself and declare that she didn't steal anything, they all looked at her with disdain, and her classmates grinned with malicious intent. Rumors spread that she was an unruly child who didn't have anyone to raise her. They always laughed at her, saying that she was pitiful because she didn't even have a father to protect her. But she's happy that she finally got to see what having a real dad feels like. It's fine and she feels really happy. Being at the amusement park already makes her happy, but the most important part is that he protected her like a real father, so now she's super happy. She clings to him, declaring that he was very handsome as he made that fat old man run away in an instant. He slightly blushes, inquiring if he's really that awesome. He looks at his notes that he had taken from the internet and throws them away, realizing that he doesn't need them anymore. He walks with Deli's and questions what she wants to do. Later, she eats more ice cream while they watch fireworks as she sits on his shoulders. She even plays on the merry-go-round. When they get home, he is very tired, so tired that he feels like he can't walk anymore. However, Deli's is still clinging to him. He wonders if she still doesn't feel safe, but unknown to him, she's clinging to him more because she likes him even more now. He doesn't mind anymore, as it's kind of cute. 2 months later, it is now snowing. He's been training in cooking, and now he can finally cook something edible. He places the food on the table and declares that the meal is ready. However, he notices her sitting on the couch and staring out the window. He approaches her, wondering what she's looking at. However, she is gazing at the children playing in the snow in the distance. He ponders if she wants to play with them. It makes sense, as she usually only interacts with him, and children her age like to play with friends their own age too. But what she is actually thinking is that there's so much snow. It's like ice cream. However, her expression is gloomy, which makes him believe that she is upset. He wonders if this reminded her of the time she got bullied, but actually, she thinks the weather is too cold, and he won't let her eat it. He questions Deli's if she's ever home alone. She tells him no, as she has cartoons to watch and her fairies to accompany and play with her too. As proof of this, she summons the little fairies, who begin to hug her and kiss her on the cheeks. One of the small fairies smacks his chest, showing its sincerity. She really likes her current life because she has him, a warm house to live in, and a lot of yummy things to eat. She just misses someone a little bit. His name is Anan. He was Deli's best friend and the only one she had. They met each other in the forest, and at that time, he wonders if she ran into a small animal in the forest. She wanted to treat his injury, but Anan wouldn't let her approach him. The creature she's describing sounds like a very vigilant one, but it was probably because it was their first meeting, so he was shy. She used her magic to heal his tail. It was only after that Deli's learned Anan got hurt because he was fighting a black bear for food, which scared him a bit. A small creature facing off against a bear. However, she continues explaining that he's being bullied, but he's clearly kind, and only he was willing to play with her. He's a bit downcast as he realizes her only best friend was an animal. Anan doesn't have a mom or dad, just like her. But the director didn't agree with her bringing him home, so they could only meet outside. Now that Deli's has come here, Anan must be sad because he can't find her. Since it's the first time for him being in such a situation, he doesn't know what to say. but he tells her not to be sad because after she finishes her meal, he'll take her out to play. He knows that it's best for her to find some joy, so he'll bring her to the park so she can play with the kids there. As he's walking with her, he tells her to walk slowly or she may slip. Suddenly, she is tackled to the ground by a strange creature. To her surprise, it was her best friend, Anan. She questions how he got there, and he is flabbergasted, wondering if this puppy is really Anan. However, he decides that they should talk about it later and tells her to get up or she will catch a cold. However, the puppy smacks his hand away with great intensity. In an instant, it transforms into a humanoid animal. He questions who he is calling a dog. He hugs Deli's and declares that he won't let her father touch her. He accuses her father of tricking her into coming to this world. This confuses her father, and he doesn't know what to say. But Anan tells him not to act dumb because there's a sense of magic coming from him. So he's not from this world either. He questions what he was planning to do by kidnapping her. However, Deli's explains that he misunderstands. She was the one who accidentally fell into a space-time magical array and landed here. But her father looked after her. What's more important is how Anan got here. He explains that since she hadn't contacted him for a long time, he thought she got locked up by the dean again. He could only secretly run to the orphanage to find her. But she wasn't there either. So he followed her scent and found the magical array. Despite such a short nose, he says he's not a dog. Suddenly, Deli's hugs him, commenting that he's awesome. He blushes and states that it's nothing. He grabs her hand and declares that now that he's found her, they should return quickly, and she shouldn't worry as he still remembers the position of the magical array. This surprises her father, who can't believe she will be returning so suddenly. He tries to grab Anan to make him wait, but he suddenly falls to the ground, which frightens both of them. Her father puts his hands in the air, declaring that he didn't even do anything. Deli shakes him, questioning what's wrong. Her father touches Anan's face and realizes that his temperature is very high. Later, Anan lies in bed, and Deli lays by his bedside, extremely worried yet not sleeping a wink. Her father comments that it's so late and she should get some sleep. He'll watch over him from here. But she tells him that she isn't sleepy. She yawns, and he tells her that little kids shouldn't stay up so late, so he'll continue watching him. She decides to go to sleep but insists that when her friend wakes up, she wants to be informed immediately. At that moment, the boy declares in his sleep that he will protect her. Even though this boy is sick like this, he still wants to show that he is strong. The next day, Deli's is eating her meal. After she finishes, she declares that she wants to see if her friend is awake. Not surprisingly, her father isn't eager for that kid to wake up too soon because after he wakes up, he will take Deli's away. But he doesn't want her to go. Suddenly, Deli's declares that Anan is finally awake. Her father watches them from outside as the boy comments that it's because he's too weak that he suddenly passed out. But he's okay now, so they should go quickly. However, her father declares that Anan is still sick, and it's not safe for him to take her away now. But Deli's announces that she doesn't want to go back. This surprises him, that she doesn't want to return. She explains that she doesn't want to go back to that cruel place. Aze is like her father and gave her a home. This makes him very happy as his love for her wasn't in vain. However, Anan isn't buying it. He thinks she's been tricked by this guy. He never expected that this man's trick would be so good that she would be deceived like this. Not a single one of these people is good. But she assures him that Aze is kind and he's different. She stands firm in her resolve that she doesn't want to return. He lowers his head and comments that she said he was her friend. He inquires if she doesn't want him anymore, just like his father. Looking at this boy, Aze sees that he's very similar to him. They're both depressed and were both abandoned by their fathers. Suddenly, Aze announces that Anan can stay with them. He comments that he should stay there together with them. Later, Aze reflects on the fact that he impulsively decided to raise 2 children, but his bank account makes him feel worried. There's no money. He barely has enough money to buy Deli's clothes. However, the young wolf overheard him. He remembers his dad screaming as someone declared that it's been 2 months yet they haven't received their money. His father begs for a bit more time, but feeling so desperate, he grabs his son, declaring that he will sell him. He states that Anan may look skinny, but he can work. Anan cried, declaring that he didn't want to. Suddenly, Aze gets a notification that a mall will be hosting a family event on a day they can win 8,000 yen and $800 in cash, plus a gift bag of children's products. It's not a bad deal. Since Luo-en is staying with them, they'll go out to buy things after he recovers from his illness. However, Luo-en believes that Aze just wants to sell them for money after he recovers. He thinks he can fetch a better price. That's what he believes. He thinks that he will let Deli see this person's true thoughts. Later, the boy questions what's happening. They are then welcomed to the family competition event. This time, the event's prizes are sponsored by the following. Omits the 200-word essay about the brand. After a series of elimination rounds, the family who wins first place will also get an additional prize of 5,000 yen. Since they know everyone can't wait all day, they announce that the event has officially started. The first level is Tug of War. The competition-selected players are divided into teams according to the color they draw. The losing team will be eliminated completely. When the teams are selected, a man declares that his muscles aren't weak, so they'll definitely bring victory to the team. This makes Aze very happy. However, Anan glares at the both of them as they talk about spending the money they will earn. Moments later, the war has begun, and they are struggling in the first challenge. Aze is beginning to doubt if he will earn that money. The boy has come to the conclusion that it's all for money, so he will let Aze win the entire game. The victorious team is congratulated and now will go to the next checkpoint. Two-legged race, blindfolded ball show, Pictionary, only 3 teams remain. They're approaching the grand prize. The next test will see how much the fathers understand their children and finally test whether they are in sync with each other. The organizer will recite the question, the children will tell him the answer quietly, and the father will write down the answer. They will advance to the next level if all the answers are identical. At that moment, Luo has arrived. A man inquires if he wants to take a look at some new designs. However, Luo merely sighs and continues about his business until he notices Aze looking nervous as he is about to start the game. He wonders what's going on. Why is he here? It's hard to believe that his friend would be at a parent and child activity. Also, he wonders who that little boy standing across from him is. Last time it was a girl. The announcer exclaims that all the answers are accurate. The organizer congratulates the father and son for making it to the next round. Aze is grateful that he was able to make so many lucky guesses. There's only one group left on the stage. They're very close to the grand prize. In the last game, the father needs to carry his kid on his back, and the kid who tears off the other party's sash first wins the game. Aze tells Anan to get on his back, and when the time is right, he can grab the sash. However, Anan hesitates momentarily, but Aze quickly puts him on his back and tells him to hold on tight to his neck. Anan becomes sad as he remembers the time when he was young and wanted to be carried by his father. However, his father cruelly cursed at him and hit him with a bottle while his mother cried and begged for her son not to be hit. He remembers watching children being carried by their fathers. Turns out it feels really good. Suddenly, Aze snaps back to reality. Aze becomes sad, thinking about the money, and questions why Anan is suddenly in a daze. It's all over now, his prize money is gone. Another family has already snatched it and won. Deli's questions what was wrong with him as he didn't move one bit. He turns his head and tells her nothing, but he himself doesn't know what's wrong with him. Why did he suddenly think that being carried by him felt so warm? He can't be fooled by him. He caused him to lose the money. He clearly won't let it go just like that. Suddenly, his best friend approaches them angrily. He glares at him and wonders if this is his accomplice. Aze questions why Lu is here, but Lu whispers in his ear, asking how long it's been and why he suddenly has a new son and is even joining some family event. Aze tells him it's a long story. He also picked him up on the streets, and now he lives in his house. Lu ponders if Aze's house is now some kind of shelter. He questions if Aze's small salary can handle the cost of 2 children, as he will need to spend a lot. Lu supported his decision to take in 1 child, but now it's 2. Thinking about the situation, he comments that it might be best to send them to the orphanage. But Aze declares how could he do that? He promised to take good care of them. As an adult, how can he not be responsible for them and throw them out? Even if he doesn't have the money, he can just not raise them. They will always find a way. He'll just earn more overtime pay, and also, he has young Master Lu who can support him eventually. But Lu shoos him away, commenting that when talking about love, Aze isn't excited, but when it comes to raising kids, he's the first to bring it up. Lu comments that Aze already has a son and daughter and gets that Lu is jealous. Lu is angry but walks away. Meanwhile, the boy grips his face and questions why Aze didn't sell them off. He doesn't have the money, so why does he still want to raise them? Aze explains that he's not a human trafficker. Although they didn't win the prize money, the top 3 can still take home a bag of children's products. These toiletries aren't bad, and they can use them once they get home. The boy questions if Aze is really going to raise them or if he is sure he doesn't want to sell them or throw them away. Aze rubs his head and questions what's going on in the boy's little brain. Regardless of what he's experienced before, Aze assures him he won't do that. Deli's comments that the boy thinks too much. Aze is really different from the other people they met before. They really have a home now. Suddenly, the boy's ears appear, a sign that he is very happy. He covers his ears, declaring that he's not happy, while Lu stares at him with a worried expression. Lu ponders something as he glances at them but turns around and walks away. Meanwhile, a young lady watches them on a screen and comments that they are very touching while eating some snacks. However, this is the year when the crisis from the prophecy arrives. She can't let her guard down. She is aware of how dangerous these two can be, and she wonders if they should be completely eliminated. Maybe she should go and test it,